This is the weekly forecast reading, both the general and love and partnership reading for the week of 2nd of November 2015. We started off with the general forecast reading. Select a guidance card for the challenge for this week, and a guidance card for the next step to take, and an overall guidance card. We start this week off with feeling of time having stopped for a while. So sort of late Sunday and Monday, you may feel as if there's a bit of a stasis in time, as if you've been given a little bit of a breather, a bit of a time out, and not much is happening at that time. Take this small breather, this small opportunity to relax for a bit, sit a bit, dream a bit, and be quiet a bit. And stop listening to the clock ticking. Okay, your challenge is going to be that this week, some kind of temptation will be coming this way. Something will be luring you. Something will be trying to distract you and send you off in a different direction. As I've often said with this card, it's not a card you label. It's not a good distraction. It's not a bad distraction. It's a distraction. It's a temptation. It's something that is luring you. It has a job to do, and this is why we don't give it a good or a bad label. But probably be open your eyes wide as to what it is that you're luring yourself, or what is luring you. Your guidance here is effortless. Okay, so that's interesting. So it says whatever is tempting you this week or luring you this week, perhaps the thing is to effortlessly give in or give over to whatever that is. This kind of temptation we're talking about is probably a temptation for you to get off your well-worn path, your well-worn way of thinking, your well-worn way of doing things, trying something a little bit different, trying something a little bit out of your normal comfort zone. And the waterfall card says to do so effortlessly. You are being nudged and pushed by the universe, God, Spirit, to do something different and to give over with full trust and faith and hope that whatever's going to happen, be it what you want or something which maybe you hadn't planned on quite turning out the way you did, that it's preordained, that it's for you to do, that it's in your path because you need to be going through it. I think the less resistance one goes into this with, the less overthinking that one does to do this, the better it's going to be, the less painful the transition will be. Okay? And I'm talking transition now. We don't know yet what the results will be. Later in the week, you'll feel as if you are tied down. As per usual with this card, it's because it's an illusion. You are not tied down. You're perfectly capable of stretching quite easily out of this, whatever it is you think that's tying you down, and taking flight. You're well aware of the fact that you think you're tied down is just your thinking and little else. Earlier in the week, once again, there's this feeling of peace, okay? So, at the beginning of this week, there's definitely a respite or a moment away from what's been bothering us or what is been challenging us. What's been challenging us is probably the right term to use. And seeing as this type of card has come up twice, it's probably a message to say to enjoy that time. It's probably recharging your batteries, receiving good information and guidance in that time, so make full use of it. If you get moments where you can just relax and enjoy a few moments of peace and quiet, thoroughly enjoy them, make good use of them. Your next step is going to be to try to look at things from different perspectives. This is probably good advice for life in general for the next few months, if not years. We have very conditioned ways of seeing things and thinking about things. We see things through a very specific lens, and it's maybe time to take a different perspective of a lot of things in our life. The guidance here is instinct, okay? So perhaps to rely less on what you think you are seeing and a lot more on what your gut is telling you. This can also be a card that says be aware of what you think you're seeing. Be aware of what you're being presented with. That perhaps it's not entirely the truth. Perhaps it's an illusion. And to rely more on your instincts, more on your gut feelings. If your gut says what you're looking at or what you're seeing, you don't entirely trust that that could be the real thing or the truth, or that you're possibly being misinformed. Go with the gut rather. The outcome is going to be that you, once again, this is a restriction card, self-imposed restriction. But what this card is saying to you is the fact that you are not flourishing and being successful at whatever it is that you're busy with at the moment, or where your mind is focused on, is just in your thinking. And it's not a case of if you change your thinking, you would be successful. You are actually successfully doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing at this moment in life. And if you change your perspective, if you change the way you look at it, perhaps as that former card said, you will realize you are successfully going through your life. And that in the changing of perspective, you could probably do it a little more happily, or a little bit with a bit more content, and with a bit more faith and hope in the future. And therein lies the change that you're looking for. When you do it with a different attitude, then things will truly manifest differently in your life. And your guidance is New Moon Promise. So that's a lovely card for the guidance. So to know that new moon is rising full of promise and potential for the future, all you need to do is change the way you see and feel about things. That's your advice for this week. Okay, so that is your general forecast reading for the week of 2nd November 2015. We will now take a look at the love and partnership for this coming week of November 2nd, 2015. Right. And there's a card. Oh, goodness me. Okay, well, those three insisted on coming out, so let's use them, shall we? Okay. Right. Then we'll select a card that gives us an overall theme for this week for our partnerships and relationships, and they're selecting themselves this week by the looks of things. Okay, and then we'll take a guidance card for the next step, and an overall guidance card for the reading. So let's see what the theme is. So the theme for this week is making choices and decisions. And this could very well be the kind of choice or decision that came up in the general forecast reading. You need to make up your mind about how you want to see things and how you want to do things. This is about your very own version of what the world is about and what you are doing. Stop looking at things through other people's eyes. Look at it through your eyes, through what you feel, through what you believe, through what you want to do and see in the world. That's the decision that you perhaps need to be making. The beginning of the week, you're going to receive some kind of gift, whether this is a physical gift or words or a token or an action from a partner, be it romantic, platonic or business, that's going to make you feel appreciated in some way. What you know is this gives you a feeling of feeling at home. Now that feeling of feeling at home is about feeling as if you belong, okay, and comfortable. That feeling that you have when you come home after a long journey, you know what I mean. You feel that happy sigh as you sink down onto your couch, that kind of feeling. What you don't know is that some kind of obstacle in a partnership or relationship has been overcome without you actually seeing it, without it being such a big thing happening that you think, oh my goodness, that's gone. some obstacle in your partnership or relationship has simply dissolved. It's probably its time was up, or all sorts of actions and happenings in the last few weeks or months has led to the point where this something is no longer there in your relationship. What this means for you is probably just to take note of the fact that that obstacle no longer exists, or that it isn't so important anymore. It could even be that this obstacle just is not such a big obstacle to you any longer. And you need to shift your thinking a little to accept and acknowledge this, because this does change the way forward. Okay, your next step is going to be to take a softer, I want to say romantic, although one doesn't mean romantic as in love and roses and blossoms, although that could be the case for those of you who are in romantic relationships, but just to take a gentler, more intuitive attitude towards your partnerships and relationships. See them in a slightly different light. That's coming through so much in both the readings, just to see things in a new light, in a gentler light, in a less harsh light, and more intuitive. Rely on your intuition a little bit more. Okay, and your guidance for that is purification, right? So it's probably time that you did do that, that you cleaned up your thoughts and your feelings and your attitudes towards your partnerships and relationships. It's time you realized your partnerships and your relationships are at the minimum 50% you're doing. What they have manifested is what you think and what you feel. And that if you would like things to change, that quite possibly you need to clean up a little. Sometimes this means sitting down and having a good old cry, which Rain is very significant of, or just washing out, figurative speaking, all those things that you've built up over time, which you know are not doing your relationships and partnerships any good. Your outcome is then going to be, you will then find yourself in a place of power. Not the kind of power that we abuse, definitely not, but the kind of power where you feel firmly rooted in who you are and what you are doing in your partnerships and relationships, where that insecurity that can eat away at a person is for a moment a thing of the past, or something that you've managed to overcome. This might even be that obstacle you've overcome that you've quietly done without even really consciously realizing it. But you will then find yourself in a position where you can go forth without all those encumberments of fear that make us do and say things we regret afterwards. General guidance is of submerged. So once again, this card also says what you're seeing on the surface is only 20% of the story. What is below the surface is what needs to be taken a look at. Below the surface is a lot more than what is superficially being shown to you, and maybe it's time to delve and dig in there a little bit and have a good look at what that is. Maybe there inspiration can be found and hope for the future, where your partnerships and relationships are concerned. Okay, so that would be your general and your love and relationship and partnership reading for the week of 2nd November 2015. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and listening.